Chapter 11 is joint cost. The chapter also will talk about byproducts and scrap. I'm not going to get into the calculations, really, especially the scrap side. Not going to get into the calculations for very minor byproduct side. We're primarily going to focus on some fairly relevant joint products and how we allocate them. What happens? We have a joint process. One you're probably most familiar with, drilling oil out of the ground. Now let's get the little rig, you drill the oil comes up. That oil eventually becomes many different things. But initially, it all had a joint process, being drilled out of the ground. That drilling has a cost. The problem is, we're going to have all these, final products. How do we get that joint cost allocated to all those products? They share it up to a point, and then they're split off into the various different products, where they can have their own new cost to process and so forth. It's unrelated to each other. Initially, they're just related costs. So we're focusing again on just an allocation. And this basically the last two topics are special types of allocation. Joint costs and service department costs, this whole cost allocation type of thing. So this terminology. Joint process is simply the manufacturing process that produces more than one product line. So joint process happens at the same time, resulting in multiple products. Things that can also happen, you can have scrap and byproducts as well coming out of this. Joint costs, simply these costs are related to this joint process. Separate costs are any additional costs we have after those products are split off. Those are going to be directly traceable to that product. So we're not going to have to worry about allocating them. They're going to be directly matched up to the product. And just so you know, byproducts, they're typically sellable. Sell them, but they're usually low value. Scrap, on the other hand, might be able to sell it. I'll value them negligible. How do you spell it? You might be able to, get someone to buy, especially recyclable type stuff. Maybe you could have someone buy your scrap in that sense, but it's going to be like pennies almost. That sort of thing. Whereas waste is simply going to be, you just have to dispose of it. No sales value. Alright, so we can have our primary products, our joint products. We can have byproducts that, depending on what the level is we can sell them, we might lump them in with our joint products if they have a high enough revenue. Scrap usually is just going to be something that there's a little bit of value as, maybe some recyclable type stuff that someone's willing to pay us, but it's not much value whatsoever. Waste, there's no value whatsoever. We can't sell it. We can best is just to get rid of it. So those all this stuff comes out of that initial process. We're primarily going to focus on things that we can sell and get some value out of. The other thing, split off point. That's simply where they become their distinguishable multiple products, where they're no longer going to be worked on together. cost of these various products. Yes, overall for the company, we're going to have this cost no matter what. It's going to be rolled in as a total cost. Well, we allocate for, one, inventory purposes, along with the overheads related to the whole company, but we still allocate to our products for inventory purposes. Cost of goods sold purposes, pricing purposes, because we want to be able to sell the product in total so they cover all these costs. So we got to allocate them out to try to figure out a pricing purpose and that sort of thing. So that's why we got to allocate them out. So there's multiple ways to do this. How we decide these costs go to these three various products.